Joining me now is Malaysia's opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim, joining me from Kuala Lumpur. Hi, Anwar. Good to see you. On the eve of the court trial, what do you think the chances are that the federal court will either overrule or uphold the conviction for sodomy?
Deborah, I'm innocent. We have presented a compelling, strong case, demolished the case for the prosecution. No shred of evidence, or from the point of law, there's no basis for them to even consider to imprison me.
So you sound pretty optimistic. A court of appeal obviously convicted you. This time around, a federal court will decide whether or not to uphold that conviction. But you sound pretty optimistic that indeed you will walk out of this trial a free man.
Based on law, evidence, and facts. But if the considerations beyond that, if it's political, that's of course beyond me. I'm making this assertion purely on the basis of law and facts and evidence.
Are you confident that you are getting a fair trial this time around?
Well, I must concede that the fact that the federal court, the 5 panel members and the Chief Justice, in their demeanor, their patience, for the first time in 16 years, have allowed my counsels to present a full case. Now, in doing so, Malaysians and the legal fraternity who have been observing, following the case, are now more than convinced that they have no reason to even consider to prosecute, to continue to convict me.
Okay, and there's been a lot of talk in Malaysia about the possibility of the opposition becoming more fragmented, especially because of your trial. What do you have to say about that?
True. Yesterday, Deborah, we had a phenomenal, change in the whole perception of the public, the Malaysian public, when we convened a meeting of all party leaders. And this was deliberated at length. They gave again, reiterate their support for me and condemning the show trial and calling for my release, and their commitment to continue a cohesive, strong opposition, even in the unlikely event that I am sent back to prison.
Okay, and if indeed, you spent 6 years in the past in jail over another conviction, but if indeed it turns out that you do go back to prison, is there a plan B in place for the opposition? Is there someone who you see fit to fill your shoes?
In our deliberations yesterday in the Leadership Council, we actually had these mechanisms in place, where to meet, how to meet, who's supposed to chair the session, and the second-tier leadership, the economic team, the social team, the legal team, the secretariat, all in place. I'm absolutely certain that the coalition would remain intact and will continue to be to struggle based on the core principles, to struggle for freedom, democracy, and justice in Malaysia.
Okay, and Anwar, you certainly have been in and out of trial since 1998. Do you believe that after this case, the final verdict is handed down by the federal court, it will be over?
I believe that there is also a limit for what authoritarian leaders and democratic systems can operate. The masses, the Malaysians, are more mature, and we have now, in 1999, was considered mainly a battle among the Malays. Now, we are fortunate because people are mature and matured in the process. You have seen ethnic Chinese, Indians, Dayaks, Kadazas, all coming and clamoring for this change and reform in this country.
Okay, thanks very much. Anwar Ibrahim joining us from Kuala Lumpur, and we will be keeping an eye when you go to trial tomorrow for the final verdict by a federal court, deciding whether or not to overturn that sodomy conviction. Thanks very much, Anwar.
Thank you, Deborah.